Hello, and welcome to Travel Tales, my weekly podcast. I'm Isabella, the virtual travel agent within the new Journey Hero travel app that will soon be available for you to download. During each episode of this podcast, we visit a particular location around the world and speak with travelers that are empowered by Journey Hero every day. I love a good zoo as much as anyone, but the majesty of all of those beautiful creatures is reduced by captivity. Don't you long to see the world's most iconic animals as they roam free? If so, then you should go on safari at Kruger Park, South Africa. Today, I have a ray of sunshine with me, our very own Afshan, who lives in Nairobi and knows all about safari. Welcome, Afshan. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Isabella. I'm so happy to be here to talk about one of my favorite adventures ever in Kruger Park. I went on safari there with my husband a few years ago, and we had the most magnificent time. We came home completely inspired by nature and fully recharged.
I can't wait for us to dive in. First, let me tell our listeners a bit about the park. In northeastern South Africa sits one of the world's largest game reserves. Kruger Park is the size of a small country, stretching almost 20,000 square kilometers. It is home to what is known as the Big Five, a list of the hardest 5 animals to track and hunt on foot. This list includes lions, leopards, rhinos, elephants, and buffaloes. There are also hundreds of other mammals and birds that call this park home. This is a majestic setting where man is more prey than predator. Tell us, Afshan, given Kruger Park's remote location, was it a difficult journey for you to reach your destination?
Well, Isabella, it will be slightly different for everyone. I live in Kenya, so thankfully I'm already on the same continent, but I still needed to traverse nearly half of the continent. Whilst there are several countries in sub-Saharan Africa that offer safaris, Kruger National Park is probably the easiest to reach because of its proximity to Johannesburg's OR Tambo International Airport. Once you arrive in Johannesburg, you can access the park or nearby accommodations via a pre-arranged motor coach or private car, normally taking between 4 to 5 hours. Then, you can also enjoy a city break in one of the best African cities before flying out.
That's good advice. As it's a safari park, it's clear what attractions visitors are there to see. However, I wonder if you have any tips or advice on how to make the most of your time on safari while adjusting to the extensive exercise required and the warm climate.
That's a great question, Isabella. I would say that the best time to visit the park is in the early morning. It does mean waking up before sunrise, but I promise it is worth it. The animals are most active at this time of the day, so there will be lots to see. It can be quite chilly, however, so I would advise wearing layers that you can remove as the day heats up. More essentials include sunscreen, a hat, sunglasses, and of course your camera. Your guides will bring water and other drinks, but remembering to stay hydrated is key in being able to last the day and still feel good when you return to your lodge to rest.
A good reminder, Afshan. For those who have a harder time handling the heat, it's advised to travel to Kruger National Park during South Africa's winter season, typically between the months of June and September, though temperatures will really reflect the season, dropping to around 6 degrees centigrade, so do make sure to wrap up for all conditions and prepare to shed those layers like a snake.
Yes, winter is a great time of year to visit because the heat and humidity can be pretty intense outside of the dry season. It's such a unique experience to have the opportunity to watch these beautiful creatures in their natural habitat and much more informative and pleasurable than seeing them in captivity. Zoos do their best and can be an important resource when dealing with species on the brink of extinction. However, nothing can replicate the power of seeing animals in their rightful homes. It's we humans who are the exotic creatures, and we find ourselves feeling on display. For those who aren't as averse to heat and humidity and are traveling without the worry of school holidays or young children, I'd recommend a visit in January. Even though it's the rainy season, the days are much warmer and the animals are very active. At this time of year, it doesn't feel as cold. Lows are around 17 degrees centigrade, so it's less about layers and more water and sunscreen.
That's a good point, Afshan. Tell us, is there anything you would recommend when it comes to the safari itself? Any hidden gems that travellers might find useful when planning their itinerary?
I have a few suggestions actually. The first is that where you head in the park should depend on which animals you're most interested in seeing. Popular hotspots include Crocodile Bridge, Lower Sabi, Skukuza, and Satara. Wildcat lovers should definitely check out Satara, as it seems to be quite popular amongst the lions and leopards. And, though it may seem unexpected, a guided visit to Kruger Park at night, especially on a cloudless evening, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You can often see the stars of the Milky Way flowing like a river across the night sky. You may, if you're lucky, also have the chance to catch a glimpse of rarely seen constellations of the Southern Hemisphere. And for those looking for a truly immersive sensory experience, listen closely to hear the calls of the wild animals at night. From roaring to grunting, sounds of the hunt or the hunted are incredible. There's no such thing as a still or quiet night out there.
Wow, that sounds incredible, Afshan. And speaking of those who can't keep quiet, here's a word from our sponsors, making noise in the field of travel. Soon, you will be able to download the coolest new travel app available anywhere from the Apple App Store. An Android version will soon follow. The Journey Hero travel app puts the power of artificial intelligence on your phone to locate fantastic deals that are tailored just for you. The best part is that after you book and even pay, Journey Hero will continue to look for better deals. When it finds a better deal, it will give you the option to change. And, if you accept, it will refund the difference in fees to your credit card. No vouchers or in-store credits, just money back on your form of payment. How cool is that? Everyone wants an unexpected windfall. Now, back to our podcast. Tell us, Afshan, where would you recommend staying when visiting the park?
A good question. There are many comfortable hotels around and even inside the park, but I'd recommend staying in some of the ultra-comfortable lodges that surround the park entrances. The local tribal communities have invested in luxury lodges, complete with large bedrooms, luxury viewing towers, and excellently equipped kitchens. It's perfect if you're traveling with multiple generations or young children, as it allows you to spread out a bit and really relax. The villas are also a great value because you can cook your own meals or really splash out and hire a chef to help. Siabona Africa is a company we turned to find the perfect, locally run accommodation, and we were truly spoiled. They host lodging and guides from several tribal communities, and so they're a great resource. There are also braai facilities at practically all villas, lodges, and camps, no matter where you stay. It's a culinary staple of South Africa, and is like open-fire barbecuing. After a day spent on safari, coming back to a beautifully cooked dinner and a glass of crisp South African wine, then watching the sun sink down below the horizon before falling into a plush bed is the perfect ending to the day.
That does sound perfect. Is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up, Afshan?
Thank you, Isabella. I just wanted to say how wonderful it is to have places to experience the natural world and the magnificent creatures often limited to storybooks or zoos. And I wanted to add how important it is that we as tourists and guests conduct ourselves with the same kind of respect that we would when visiting the homes of anyone else. We are guests in their space, and it is our responsibility to act with respect, so we're able to preserve the natural world for generations to come.
Well said. Thank you very much for speaking with us today. It has been a pleasure. Thanks for listening to Travel Tales with me, Isabella. Before we go, show some love by leaving us a review where you found this podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at Journey Hero app for more travel inspiration of some of the destinations around the globe. You can also sign up to our newsletter from our website, www.journeyhero.net, to receive updates from me.